Good evening and welcome inside the Sullivan Center for tonight's basketball matchup between St. Francis and Bethel University. Terry Bonadonna with you here for this non-conference showdown. The Saints, after a resounding start to the CCAC play, they started out 2-0, averaging 75-point victories against Calumet St. Joseph and Trinity International. This last week, they return to non-conference play, getting a look at the team from Mishawaka, Indiana, the Pilots of Bethel. For a long time, this kind of felt like a conference rivalry. They were playing each other every year for a while there, but this is the first meeting between these two schools in 3 years, so most of the players on the floor have not seen their opposition. Jordan Pyle is an exception to that. Pyle is at center court for the opening tip, going against Katie Kinker, and it's won by the Fighting Saints. Braxton Mickens takes the first possession. The Saints in white going from right to left. Jordan Pyle drives and scores on the layup. In their last two games coming into tonight, the Saints have scored on their first possession both times and then never trailed nor possessed a tie at any point of either of those games. It's been quite a homestand for St. Francis as they score on their opening possession again today. Pull-up jumper for Maya Shelton is no good. Fight for the rebound. We've got a tie-up, and the possession arrow will favor Bethel. So it'll stay here with 19 seconds on the shot clock. Third straight game here at the Sullivan Center that the Saints have scored first. It's a tall order to ask them to go wire to wire again, but if they can do it, it would be an impressive run for them. It's already an impressive run. Katie Kinker thought about the three and thought too long as she took a long stride, and she's called for the travel. So in the last three games, including today, the Saints have been tied for a grand total of 26, make that 27 seconds. Other than that, they've held a lead the entire way. Georgia Bolton takes it into the left side, passes out to Justine Charlesworth, the leading scorer in Saturday's win over TIU. Here's Braxton Mickens spinning her way inside. Nice move around Addie Jones, but can't finish off the glass. And the rebound goes to Nyla Assad. Assad, Mariah Claywell, Maya Shelton, Addie Jones and Katie Kinker make up the Bethel starting five today. Jones dribbles it off her leg, but keeps control and passes off to Shelton. Down to Kinker in the post. Kinker is double teamed. She finds an open shooter. Three ball rattles in for Mariah Claywell. And for the first time in over a week, St. Francis finds themselves playing from behind. 3-2 our score after a minute and a half of today's game. Georgia Bolton into Jordan Pyle. Nice move around Kinker, but got herself in too low underneath the basket and couldn't finish. Bethel takes over with a 1-point lead. They've gotten back-to-back stops. Nyla Assad all the way to the hoop. Lays it in for her first 2 points. So Bethel has scored on back-to-back possessions. They've come up with 3 consecutive stops of St. Francis. We'll see if the Saints can bounce back right here. They haven't scored since the opening seconds on Jordan Pyle's layup. This is Pyle on the outside. Hannah Switek, Justine Charlesworth for 3. That's good. Charlesworth hit 6 3-pointers in the Saturday win. She had a season-high 20 points and enters play today as the team's leader, averaging 11 a game. Tie score here, 5-5, as Claywell bounces off to the left side. Cross-court pass. Addie Jones tries to respond with a 3. Bricks it, and it's rebounded by the sophomore Georgia Bolton. Switek off to Pyle. Charlesworth tries a 3 from the other end. This one rattles around but does not fall, and Nyla Assad comes away with the loose ball. Almost 3 minutes into the action. Good pace so far today as these two teams find themselves tied early on. Maya Shelton takes it in on Pyle, draws the foul, and misses on the shot. Claywell, make that Shelton, will head to the free throw line for 2 attempts. And the Saints go to the bench for the first time. Josie Graffio checks in for Braxton Mickens. Bethel calls on Callie McElroy and sits Mariah Claywell down for the moment as Shelton makes her first free throw. Mariah Shelton is a 75% free throw shooter coming in, including that make. She's now 10 of 13 on the season, and she makes both attempts this time around. Bethel leads it by a pair in the first quarter. Hannah Switek, averaging better than 10 points a game so far this year, is fouled. by Nyla Assad, who puts on the full court pressure for the first time today and is a little bit too aggressive in her efforts. She checks out. Heading into the game is Elia Foster. Switek is one of 6 Fighting Saints, averaging between 7.8 and 11 points this year. Nobody averages more than 11. Very balanced scoring. Jordan Pyle gets around Shelton in the post and lays it in, tying the score at 7. Timeout called by Scott Pulsgrove from the Bethel bench. Good start to this one. 3 minutes, 14 seconds in. We're tied 7-all. Jordan Pyle makes her second basket of the night. She's got 4 points. I mentioned nobody on the Saints averages better than 11 points per game. St. Francis as a team, though, is scoring better than 85 points per match this year, which ranks in the top 15 nationally. So they have been an offensive force. But a lot of that, at least in recent games, has come from the bench. They've scored 220 points the last 2 contests, and in both of them, the starters were gone from the game pretty early. In fact, last Wednesday against Calumet St. Joe's, none of the 5 starters played a single second half minute. So that's why you don't see any gaudy numbers from any individuals for St. Francis. They've had the luxury with big leads of clearing the benches and playing a lot of different players. Against the full court pressure, Bethel's able to get it in. Now they work to get it across half court. They've got 4 seconds remaining. Foster bounces to the left side, and with 1 second to spare, she's able to get it across to Shelton. Shelton loses the handle on the dribble, and Switek comes away with it. Switek dribbled it off the foot of Maya Shelton there. Shelton called for the kick, so it'll stay with St. Francis. Frenetic action right there as the Saints force a turnover, nearly give it right back. But expect that to be largely in St. Francis's favor today, the turnover battle. Bethel's had massive problems holding on to the basketball this year. Jordan Pyle takes it into the paint, kicks it into the corner. That's Josie Graffio knocking down a 3. First 3 points of the game for Josie Graffio. Coming off the knee injury that kept her out all of last season. Been a little bit slow to get it going offensively this year, but good to see her knock down an early shot. This is Foster with Bethel playing from behind for the first time since the opening minute. And Bethel turns it over for the second consecutive possession. Shelton got in a little bit too far along the baseline and ended up bouncing out of bounds. Georgia Bolton heads to the bench for St. Francis. Alina Yonke, the senior transfer, in for the first time. Graffio across half court. Off to the left looking for Jordan Pyle. She overthrew her out of bounds. Bethel turned it over nearly 40 times in their last game, a loss to Oakland City. And they're averaging 27 offensive turnovers per game, which is just an enormous number, facing a pretty aggressive St. Francis defense. The Saints force 17 turnovers per game. That figures to be an advantage that St. Francis can exploit throughout the night. Bounce down low to Katie Kinker. Kinker passes out of the double team on the outside. It's McElroy driving and kicking. 2 on the shot clock. Foster gets it off just on time and knocks it down. Very close as to whether or not she got that one off before the buzzer. But the ruling from the officials is that it is a good shot and a clutch shot for Foster. A big one responded to on the other end by Justine Charlesworth. That breaks the tie. St. Francis by 3 once again. Justine Charlesworth has her second 3-pointer of the game and now leads all scorers with 6 points. Addie Jones bounces it up top and passes to the right side to Elia Foster, who walks. Foster, the freshman guard out of Bremen, Indiana, turns it over. John McGinty aggressive with the substitutions early on as Braxton Mickens checks back in for Josie Graffio. Switek bounces it down low to Pyle, triple teamed, and Pyle is fouled. Jordan Pyle hasn't put up huge numbers so far this season, but you know she's capable of them. She had some huge games last year, averaging 9.6 points, 4 rebounds per game. She's shooting 51% from the field and obviously commands a lot of attention defensively as Charlesworth misses on the runner. Offensive rebound, Alina Yankee into the cutting Braxton Mickens, who lays it in. Big offensive board for Yankee, and Braxton Mickens with a beautiful cut is able to finish for her first 2. Down low, it's Abby Williams in the post against Yankee. She hands it off to McElroy, sweeping around. McElroy loses her dribble, gives it up to Williams, who loses the ball, and Switek is there to scoop it up. Switek leads the break ahead to Mickens. Layup from the left side is good. St. Francis has scored 7 consecutive points to break a 10-10 tie and open up their biggest lead of the evening. 17-10 our score, 3.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. This is Elia Foster bouncing down low to Abby Williams. Pass back to the cutting Foster, and she's called for the double dribble. Bethel was clean with the basketball the first few minutes, but they are starting to get bit by that turnover bug once again. Mia Kennelly is on the floor for St. Francis. Jordan Pyle sits down for the first time, and Braxton Mickens attempts her first three-pointer of the game, but misses it short. Here comes Assad leading the charge for Bethel. Given up to Carolyn Morris, off to the left side, Assad, three-pointer short. Mickens grabs the rebound. 2 pilots in her way, but she's able to make a strong grab to keep it away from them. Shoveled back to Georgia Bolton. Bolton misses on the trailer 3, and the rebound goes to Morris. Bethel basketball, as they've been able to stop St. Francis on the last few possessions, slowing down this Fighting Saints run. They've still scored 7 in a row. And the run does not end just yet as Jones misses on the runner. Here's Kennelly, first field goal attempt of the game. Misses on the 3 ball. And a fight for the rebound. I think we've got a foul on St. Francis. To go on Georgia Bolton. First foul on Bolton, second on the Fighting Saints. Bethel working on nearly 3 minutes without a point. But St. Francis has come up empty on their last few, just one of their last 4 from the field. So Bethel's hanging around right now. Abby Williams drives with the left hand, loses the ball, and gets it back. 16 on the shot clock. This is Maya Shelton circling the perimeter. Bounced out to Nyla Assad. Assad has Kennelly reach in on her, and a held ball is called. St. Francis possession. Quick hands from Mia Kennelly. She just reached right in on Nyla Assad's drive and forced the tie-up. So another defensive stop for St. Francis. That's now 7 turnovers in the ball game for Bethel. Still in the first quarter. 1 dribble from Pyle, kicked out to Graffio. She gets her second three-pointer of the night. 6 points for Josie Graffio, 20-10. St. Francis now doubling up Bethel, who hasn't scored in over 3.5 minutes. Assad dribbling to the right. Pass back out to Claywell. In the corner, it's Nyla Assad. Assad loses her footing, and that's a travel. 8 turnovers in the first quarter for Bethel. And a timeout is called by the Pilots. 1:27 to play in the first quarter. St. Francis 20, Bethel 10. Tight back and forth action early, but St. Francis has broken it open. They've scored the last 10 points consecutively, and they are off to a good first quarter run here in trying to pick up their 4th consecutive victory. The Saints came into play today with a record of 4-1 overall this year. They won their opener here at home and then fell by 20 up in Wisconsin against 7th-ranked Marion. They've been perfect since then with a couple of very lopsided victories. We're early enough in the season, it's really difficult to get a good read on how good the Saints are and how good their competition has been, you get the sense that Calumet and Trinity International are going to be around the bottom of the CCAC this year, so beating them feels good, but Saints are still looking for their first big conference challenge. Bethel figured to provide a stiffer test. They came into play today with an overall record of 4-2. Their losses have been, like St. Francis's, pretty lopsided. And they actually might be a good indicator of where St. Francis stands right now in the CCAC, because Bethel's played a couple of CCAC opponents already. They've gone 1-1 against Holy Cross and Indiana South Bend. Indiana South Bend, usually one of the top teams in the CCAC, and they handled Bethel by 13 points when they met up. Saints basketball out of the timeout. Jordan Pyle fakes right, drives left, lays it in, and draws the foul. Pyle's got 6 points, and she'll try to make it 7 from the free throw line.
Bethel foul number 0, Caroline Morris, her first, team's third.
Pyle's just 5 of 8 from the line so far this season. Now just 5 of 9 as Graffio is called for the loose ball foul. 3 fouls called on each team so far this evening. 75 seconds to play in the first quarter. Big lead for the Fighting Saints thanks to a 12-0 run that is ongoing. Here's the full court press from the Saints. Inbounded to Maya Shelton. Shelton dribbles with the right hand, shadowed by Hannah Switek, and a foul is called on Switek defensively. That's number 4 on the Fighting Saints, so the next one will send Bethel to the free throw line. Switek heads to the bench as Talia Pellegrini comes in. Justine Charlesworth back on the floor, as is Alina Yonke. Georgia Bolton and Jordan Pyle remain in. So there's your 5 for St. Francis right now. Claywell, Assad, Morris, Williams, and Shelton are out there for Bethel right now with just over a minute to play in the quarter. Bethel hasn't made a field goal since more than 5 minutes remained. Here's Nyla Assad with her back to the basket, passed out to Shelton. 6 on the shot clock. Shelton has got just 3 seconds, hounded by Pyle. Gives it up to Williams, and Williams didn't get the shot off on time. 9th turnover of the quarter committed by Bethel. 45 seconds to play before the quarter break, and Scott Pulsgrove clears his bench. Callie McElroy is back in, Katie Kinker, Elia Foster, and Addie Jones. And now we got the first appearance here of Alasia Stewart. Jordan Pyle into the corner for Georgia Bolton. Bolton drives and kicks. Pellegrini back to Bolton. Saints move the ball around the perimeter. Bolton works her way inside, and she travels. Here's Foster, handing it off to McElroy. Right side, Addie Jones. Bethel does not have to give the ball back to St. Francis. Knocked out of bounds, last touch by Katie Kinker. Jordan Pyle got in the way of the pass and deflected it off the leg of Kinker and out of bounds. So it looks like Bethel will keep this scoring drought going into the second period. Saints on a 12-0 run. Jordan Pyle trying to extend it. Drives to the left. 4 seconds in the quarter. Pyle up with the right hand, off the glass, no good. Yonke battling for a second effort and can't pull it in time, so the Saints don't get another shot off. They do go into the second quarter, though, with a big lead. 12-0 run over the final 5 minutes of the first quarter, and as we go to the second, our score is St. Francis 22, Bethel 10. Leading scorers so far for the Fighting Saints, Josie Graffio, Jordan Pyle, and Justine Charlesworth. They've each got 6 points. In the case of both Charlesworth and Graffio, it's come on a pair of 3-pointers. Jordan Pyle also leads the team with 3 assists so far today, and that's become very standard for the senior forward. Pyle leads the team in assists this year, averaging a little bit over 3 per game. And she is a player who can take over a game offensively and did at times last year in terms of scoring. But when she's at her best, she's doing a little bit of everything, as she has so far today. 6 points, 3 assists, and a rebound. Bethel is led by Maya Claywell, or Mariah Claywell, rather, and Elliot Foster. Each of them hit a three-pointer. Bethel is 2 of 4 from beyond the three-point line overall, but the Pilots have taken only 7 shots. It's been a while since they've attempted a field goal. They've gone scoreless for the last 5 minutes and 14 seconds. And the reason for that is largely turnovers. They have turned the ball over 10 times already in today's game. That's after they turned it over 36 times in their loss a few days ago against Oakland City. Saints have turned it over just twice. They're shooting 53% from the field, 4 of 8 on three-pointers. Bethel basketball as we start the second quarter. They trail by double figures. Here's Stewart passing off left. Kinker left alone downstairs, and Katie Kinker is able to finish with a layup. That snaps a scoreless run of nearly 5.5 minutes. And it snaps a 12-0 St. Francis spurt. Georgia Bolton, though, gets the Saints back on the board. A three-pointer on their first possession of the second quarter. Georgia Bolton connects on her first field goal of the game. And the lead is the highest it's been all night so far. 13 points for the Fighting Saints. Bounce down low, Switek tries to knock it away, and ultimately Charlesworth gets her hands on it, and Jordan Pyle comes away with the steal, but Braxton Mickens loses the ball on the other end, and it'll belong to Bethel on the St. Francis turnover. Just their third so far. Wholesale substitutions once again for Bethel. Morris, Williams, Assad, Claywell, and Shelton back in for Bethel. Pilots trying to find a spark offensively. What they need more than anything is to hold on to the basketball. They've shot it well when they've been able to get their shots off. There just haven't been enough opportunities. Too many turnovers so far for the Pilots. There's a drive, a layup, and it's good for Maya Shelton. So there you go. When they've gotten the shots off, they've been tough to stop. They're 5 of 9 from the field thus far. And hanging around as a result. Deficit's down to 11 as Shelton, fresh off her layup on the other end, gets a solid deflection of the Georgia Bolton pass and knocks it out of bounds. Alina Yonke and Josie Graffio are back in for the Fighting Saints. Hannah Switek inbounds to Yonke. Bounced into the post. Jordan Pyle loses the ball, and it's plucked away from her by Carolyn Morris. Here come the Pilots. Assad up top to Morris. Right side, Shelton. Shelton, step back three, on the money. A high arcer from Maya Shelton, perfect touch. She's got the last 5 points in this contest, and the Bethel deficit is back within single digits for the first time in a little while. Pyle nearly had it stolen again, and ultimately she does, as the ball is knocked loose by Abby Williams, and Pyle called for the foul, trying to get it back. Second foul on Jordan Pyle. And that's a costly one, a frustration foul for Pyle after she had lost the ball. And now is to sit down with those 2 infractions. Over 8 minutes to play in the first half. Let's see if John McGinty trusts her enough to bring her back in before halftime. Bethel turns it over once again as that pass drifts out of bounds. Back-to-back turnovers, 1 for each team. This game's been pretty sloppy of late. Saints have already turned it over more in the second quarter than they did in the first. Graffio drives to the left hand, kicks it into the corner. Bolton for 3. That's her second. Georgia Bolton has 6 points, and the lead is back up to 11. This is the junior Morris passing it off to Claywell. Back out to Morris on the right wing. She takes it inside on Bolton, and she travels. She bumped into Bolton and lost her footing in the process. Bolton held her ground, though. Did not commit a foul, and it's another Bethel turnover as Braxton Mickens comes on for Josie Graffio. Here's Switek walking it off to the left side. Up top, Charlesworth. Bolton down low to Yankee. Yankee against a double team, forces it up and in. Elena Yankee, 6'3" tall. So she's got a pretty sizable advantage on anybody who's out there right now for Bethel. Carolyn Morris, the tallest, listed at 5'11". Shelton steps back for three once again, this time a little bit too long. And a long rebound goes out to Yankee. Charlesworth tried to get it back into Yankee, but her pass is stolen. Shelton takes it the other way, one-on-one with Bolton, and a foul called on Georgia Bolton. Maya Shelton does a good job drawing the contact. Shelton came into play today averaging 10.3 points per game, good for second on the squad behind Katie Kinker's 10.5, so very much like St. Francis. This is a balanced scoring Bethel team with nobody averaging over 10.5 points, but they've got 5 players averaging at least 7. First free throw from Shelton is good. They may be balanced like St. Francis, but not the same level of balance because they don't score nearly as much. 20 points per game fewer than the Fighting Saints get. Shelton makes both free throws. Game high 9 points for Maya Shelton. 7 of them have come here in the second quarter. She's really heated up after Bethel's offense went ice cold. They went over 5 minutes without scoring. And all of a sudden, Shelton and company have turned that around. However, they have not yet slowed down St. Francis's offense. Fighting Saints still have double-digit lead. Justine Charlesworth in low to Yankee. Yankee up with the left hand, no good. Good challenge by Abby Williams. And here's Addie Jones taking it the other way. Good opportunity for Bethel to make a little bit of a run with Jordan Pyle on the bench after picking up her second foul. Yankee reaches in, can't quite get the steal as Abby Williams is fouled by Mia Canelli. Fighting Saints are without Sierra Mahomes today, so their front court depth already shaken a little bit even without Pyle's foul difficulties. Yankee probably plays some big minutes here in the first half. She checks out now for Josie Graffio as Justine Charlesworth steals the inbounds pass. Sent ahead to Braxton Mickens, all alone in the front court, and an easy two for Mickens.
Braxton Mickens.
The lead is 13 to equal St. Francis's game high. Claywell crosses over on Canelli, picks up her dribble. Here's Katie Kinker out to Nyla Assad. Half the shot clock used up. Assad from the free throw line out to Claywell. Her three ball is well off the mark, wide to the right. Graffio comes away with the rebound. Switek off to Graffio, right side three, and before the shot, she traveled. She missed the three anyway. I don't know what she'd rather have on her stat sheet, either a turnover or a missed shot. She doesn't get to choose, it's a turnover. The 7th of the game for St. Francis. Addie Jones takes it to the left. Passes back to her right. Elia Foster is short on the three attempt. Rebounded by Canelli, and here come the Fighting Saints running as usual. It's Josie Graffio down low. Graffio trying to get around Williams, fires it down to the corner. Good ball movement to an open Charlesworth. She misses the three-point attempt. Rebound slips out of the hands of Hannah Switek, but she tracks it down. New life for St. Francis. Canelli tries the three. That's short, can't quite get the roll. Graffio fights for the rebound, can't quite pull it in, and Addie Jones down to her knees does grab it for Bethel. Knocked loose of Abby Williams, but Bethel holds on. Here come the Pilots. Charlesworth got back on defense, cutting down on the break. Here's Nyla Assad on the runner. Misses off the rim, rebound St. Francis. Both teams have gone quiet here. We haven't seen any offense in a little while. The last bucket for either team was almost 2 full minutes ago. Here's Switek. Dribbles around a defender, fires a three, and misses. A loose ball foul called on St. Francis.
St. Francis foul number 35.
Substitution for the Fighting Saints. Canelli, fresh off the foul, checks out. And Lonnie Harris is on for the first time. Foster out to Assad. Nyla Assad drives with the left hand, and she walks. Another traveling violation against Bethel. St. Francis has played an aggressive defense, but a lot of the turnovers for Bethel have been on traveling violations. Those are avoidable. Bethel's turned it over 15 times already in this game. We're only 16 minutes in. Yankee drives, layup, yes, over Abby Williams. Strong drive by the senior from Germany, Alina Yankee. Her first, or make that her second field goal of the game. Snaps a drought of over 3 minutes. Neither team had scored in over 3 minutes. 15-point lead for the Fighting Saints. Bethel's got another long scoring drought going. Step back jumper for Foster is good, and she's fouled by Georgia Bolton. Nice shot, Elia Foster. And the freshman will go to the line to try to make it a 3-point play. That ends a nearly 5-minute drought for Bethel. They've already had one drought of over 5.5 minutes, or nearly 5.5 minutes anyway. And that one was about 5 minutes as well. This time, though, St. Francis didn't pull too far ahead because they had some trouble scoring during that same stretch. So it's still a ball game here. Bethel trailing by 12 following Foster's 3-point play. She's got 6 for the game. Harris on the right wing, a freshman out of Marist High School, turns it over off of her first touch. And Addie Jones comes up with a loose ball. Jones picks it up. Outside, Kinker misses the 3. And Harris comes soaring in for the rebound. Talia Pellegrini speeds things up a bit, finds Harris on the right side. Good drive by Harris, bounce to Yankee. Yankee wild on the shot, fight for the rebound. And we've got a tie-up. Held ball, possession arrow faces St. Francis's direction. Carolyn Morris is back in for Bethel as Abby Williams takes a seat. Just under 3 minutes to play in the half. All St. Francis so far today. In the corner, Pellegrini dribbles inside. Back out, Saints move around the perimeter. Charlesworth with under 10 to shoot, gives it back to Harris. This is Pellegrini driving with the left hand. Tried the scoop shot, out of control though, well defended by Katie Kinker, and Bethel takes it the other way. Pilots going left to right. It's Foster, around a screen from Morris, bounce down low to Kinker. Kinker throws it out of bounds. She was looking for Jones. Jones is getting ready to cut. Two of them not on the same page, and it's another Bethel turnover. Hannah Switek for the Fighting Saints gets a screen going to her left, down to the corner. Mickens for 3. No good. Rebound tips towards the sideline. Bethel pulls it in. Jones grabs the loose ball. The Pilots make their move. Here's a drive from McElroy. She pulls up, and another traveling violation. St. Francis has just one field goal in the last 4 minutes, but their lead hasn't gone anywhere. Bethel has been turning it over at an incredible rate so far in this game. And the Saints haven't necessarily taken advantage as Mickens drives, misses off the glass, rebounded by McElroy. Like I said, they haven't necessarily taken advantage, but they've been able to hold their position. Neither team is getting points right now. St. Francis is not making their shots. Bethel's not really taking very many. Foster across court. Jones does take a 3 and misses it off the back iron. Rebounded by Alina Yankee. Here come the Fighting Saints. It's Switek crossing over around Kinker. The layup is good. What a drive by Hannah Switek. She's got her first points of the night. And that breaks another St. Francis drought. Just one field goal over 4.5 minutes. But now they add to their lead and make it 14. It's been as high as 15 here in the first half. We're down just about to the final minute. Kinker working against Kennelly for the basketball, and we've got another tie-up. This time it'll stay with Bethel. Leilani Harris is back in for Alina Yankee. Bethel has 12 seconds on the shot clock as they prepare to inbound here. Maya Shelton, the hot hand from earlier for Bethel, comes back in. Shelton scored 7 points in quick succession early in this second quarter, but she's been on the bench for a while. Jones looking for Shelton, has her at the free throw line with 3 on the shot clock. Shelton forces one up at the buzzer, can't get the roll. The rebound goes to Josie Graffio. Hannah Switek on the move for St. Francis. Running out of time to go 2 for 1 here. Switek drives, it's blocked out of bounds by Carolyn Morris. 18 on the shot clock. St. Francis will inbound from the baseline. Passed into Mickens, who lays it in. Shelton fell asleep on that one, and Mickens took advantage, raced right around her, and got herself an open layup. 8 points now for Braxton Mickens. 16-point lead for the Saints. 20 seconds to play in the half. Bethel trying to score once more going into the break. Backing in, Kinker in some trouble working against Graffio. Back outside to Morris. Down to the final 10 seconds here. Morris spins, loses her footing. The ball is up for grabs. Graffio falls on top of it. And we've got another held ball with 4.3 on the first half clock. St. Francis will get a chance for a quick possession here. And they'll try for one last score before the break. John McGinty pulls another shooter onto the floor. Justine Charlesworth enters for the last few seconds. Nyla Assad in to defend for Bethel. And Assad will put the pressure on Switek to try to prevent an easy shot. Switek gets across half court, all the way inside, floats it off the glass, no good. And the first half is over. An impressive first half for the Fighting Saints. They had a little bit of trouble scoring in the second quarter, but the defense never let up. And they led for double digits for the majority of that first half. 20 minutes gone, 20 minutes still to play in this non-conference battle here in Joliet this Monday night. 15 minutes from now, I'll be back with some first half stats and second half action. Until then, I'll leave you to your own devices. Back in a bit, St. Francis leads 38-22 here on the USF Sports Network. Halftime here in Joliet. St. Francis leads Bethel 38-22. Terry Bonadonna with you once again as we get set for the third quarter. The Saints in pretty good position right now. They've won their last two games by a combined 149 points. So today, with a 16-point halftime deficit, this feels comparatively like a nail-biter. The Saints had an up-and-down first half. They shot the ball very well early. Not as much late. They also had some problems with turnovers late. 7 turnovers in the second half. Overall, they shot the ball at 47%, a little bit better than Bethel's 39. Leading scorer at halftime for the Saints is Braxton Mickens, who has 8 points on 4 of 8 shooting. Alina Yankee and Josie Graffio lead the way with 3 rebounds each. Hannah Switek has 4 assists for the Saints. Bethel is led by Maya Shelton, 9 points on just 2 of 5 from the field. She has made 4 of 4 free throw attempts. Addie Jones and Carolyn Morris lead the Pilots with 3 rebounds apiece. Bethel, in a way, is fortunate to be as close as they are right now as they start the second half with the ball. They've made just 1 field goal over the last 8.5 minutes. See if they can get back in the swing of things here to start the second half. Not on their opening possession as Claywell misses on the 3-point attempt. Nice save by Addie Jones on the rebound, giving it right up to Katie Kinker, but Kinker cannot connect. So another offensive rebound for Bethel. Third chance of the possession. A drive from Shelton, and she's not able to finish. So 3 misses on that trip down the floor for Bethel, and for the first time here in the second half, St. Francis gets the ball, but Jordan Pyle misses on a quick 3. Pyle was limited to just 11 minutes in the first half because of foul trouble. Back on the floor here in the second, she makes an immediate impact with a block. Pyle takes it the other way, passes out to Switek. 3-pointer, no. Rebound punched out of the hands of Shelton by Braxton Mickens, but out of bounds. 9:08 to play, third quarter. 38-22 St. Francis. Neither side has scored since the intermission. Nyla Assad dribbles off to the left wing. Carries it back up top at the free throw line. Gives it up to Claywell on the left. Claywell backs it on Switek. Nice move to her right. Hoists it up with the right hand and misses. Off the rim. Rebounded by Georgia Bolton. That's Bolton's 3rd rebound. Ahead to Braxton Mickens. Layup is good. And she becomes the first player on either side in double figures. 5 of 9 from the field for Braxton Mickens. The lead is now 18 for the Saints. This is their biggest. Bethel is now over 10 minutes with just 1 field goal. They have not scored in 5 minutes. Assad drives and kicks. This is Shelton spinning inside and blocked. Mickens and Switek were both in on that one. Looked like Shelton had initially beat Mickens but couldn't finish the play. Charlesworth, corner 3. That's off the mark. Saints have struggled to shoot lately. They've held the big lead thanks to their defense. They got off to that hot start from the field, putting it in at a 53% rate in the first quarter, but haven't been able to maintain it. They are just 8 of 21 since then. Shelton off the cut, puts up the short jumper and misses it short. Jordan Pyle grabs the rebound. Timeout called by St. Francis. It is a full timeout. 7:27 to play in the third quarter. Saints 40, Bethel 22. An uneven performance offensively so far for St. Francis. They've been without a couple of their starters for a good stretch of time. Jordan Pyle sat the last 8+ minutes of the first half after picking up her 2nd foul. Georgia Bolton picked up 3 first-half fouls, so she was in and out of the lineup. We saw a lot of Alina Yankee and a lot of Josie Graffio off the bench in the first half for the Fighting Saints. And here in the start of the second half, with the starters back on the floor, John McGinty hasn't seen exactly what he's been looking for, so he calls an early timeout. Saints have just 2 points on 1 of 4 shooting since the break, but Bethel has gone 0 for 7 to start this second half. And that 0 for 7 has included a lot of second and third chances. They've already grabbed a pair of offensive rebounds in this second half. in the game. St. Francis has out-rebounded the Pilots 21-19. That was an interesting stat coming into the game. Saints were an average of plus 16 rebounds per contest this year. Bethel was plus 9. So true to form, it's been a tight rebounding battle with the Saints getting a little bit of an edge there. But Bethel now has gone over 6 minutes without scoring as Jordan Pyle gets herself to the free throw line coming out of the timeout.
Bethel foul on number 22, Katie Kinker, her first, team's first.
First foul on Katie Kinker.
Jordan Pyle.
She heads to the bench, and she's replaced by Abby Williams. Jordan Pyle 0 of 1 from the line so far tonight. She's just 5 for 9 there this year. And she continues to struggle on her free throws. Pyle's got 6 points in the game. There's a converted free throw. She's 1 for 3 from the line now, and she's got 7 points as she checks out. Mia Canelli, Josie Graffio, and Alina Yankee all check in for the Fighting Saints. This is Assad, chased down the floor by Charlesworth, now hounded by Charlesworth, who is called for the foul. I think they've got Justine Charlesworth there. Josie Graffio is also in on the play, but it is Charlesworth's foul, her first, and she heads to the bench. Jordan Pyle back in after a very short break. First foul on the Saints this half. Play well. Bounces down low to Williams. Williams takes a bounce, and she's called for the travel. She was nearing, I think, a 3-second call there as well, so she had to act quickly. And she moved her feet a little bit more quickly than her hands with the basketball, if that makes any sense. Off the hands of Alina Yankee there, but she's able to chase it down. Here's Mia Canelli. Back out to Yankee. Yankee drives with the left hand, takes it all the way in. Good challenge from Abby Williams, and Yankee is unable to finish. Jones takes it the other way, out to Assad. Step back for 3, in and out. Rebound deflected out of bounds. That touched a St. Francis player last. It'll stay with Bethel. We've seen just 3 points scored combined in the first 3.5 minutes of this third quarter. Bethel has gone over 7 minutes since their last points, and they'll get a fresh start on this possession with a foul called on St. Francis. Second foul on Swiatek. Fired in up top to Claywell. Mariah Claywell passes off to Addie Jones in the right corner. Jones puts it on the floor and throws it off the foot of Justine Charlesworth. Possession will reset again. Shot clock back up to 20. Bethel turned it over 18 times in the first half, just once so far in the second. But they haven't scored yet. 0 of 8 shooting here in the third period. Inbounds pass goes to Williams. Williams looking for the cutting Claywell, but knocked out of bounds by Jordan Pyle. They reset the shot clock again there, so there'll be a slight delay. That was not a reset, so it's back down to 18. The inbounder is Addie Jones. Into Assad, guarded closely by Graffio. Assad passes off to her right. This is Claywell driving, pulling up, bouncing down low. It's Williams. Williams working hard against Pyle, and this time she is called for 3 seconds. Williams had nowhere to go with it, and she turns it over. Second turnover of the quarter for Bethel, 20th of the game. The drought continues for the Pilots. Justine Charlesworth up top to Josie Graffio. Over on the left side, it's Hannah Swiatek, who fakes right, drives left, and draws the foul on Addie Jones.
Bethel foul number 15, Addie Jones, her first, team second.
2 fouls on either team now, just over 4 minutes into the third. A stilted third quarter so far. Pull up for Jordan Pyle. Comes up a little bit short, and she's called for the foul, battling for her own rebound. She whacked Maya Shelton rather, across the arm. Third foul on Pyle, who heads to the bench. Braxton Mickens back in. So now both Pyle and Georgia Bolton have 3 fouls. Both of them are sitting down for the moment. Another chance for Bethel. There's just 1 field goal in the last 13 minutes of game time. They trail by 19. This is Jones across to Assad. Nyla Assad bounces into the post. Williams backing down on Graffio. Turnaround comes up short. Rebound grabbed by Switek. Switek hurries across half court. Passed off to Mickens on the right side. Good drive. Mickens not able to finish. Williams comes down with the rebound. Shelton carries it to the free throw line. Turnaround jumper over Mickens. Doesn't get the roll. Hit every part of the rim but missed it. Williams there for the second chance. And finally, Williams ends the drought. 8.5 minutes between points for Bethel. And that's just their second field goal in the last 13.5 minutes of game time. But they are back on the board, down by 17. The Saints have only hit once from the field themselves this half. Williams jumps the passing lane, knocks it loose, and Nyla Assad is there for the steal. Assad going one-on-one with Switek. Great defense. Hannah Switek stands up Assad and forces a turnover. Looked like a fast break. It turns into nothing for Bethel. Another chance for St. Francis. Kennelly from the corner. Dribbles the baseline, and she's fouled. Addie Jones got in her way. Jones is called for her second foul. Morris and McElroy are back in for Bethel. Jones checks out with Maya Shelton. Switek bounces into Mickens. Mickens turnaround, no, but a foul. Nice job by Braxton Mickens, very aggressive off the inbounds pass. And Braxton Mickens will get 2 free throw attempts. Her first time at the line today. Braxton Mickens makes the first. Mickens has attempted more free throws than any other Saint this year, but she has not been particularly strong from the line. Now 9 of 16 as she makes 1 of 2 on this trip. Saints have just 4 points here in the third quarter as Morris cannot finish, but she's fouled. So Carolyn Morris will go to the free throw line.
St. Francis foul number 24, Hannah Switek, her third.
Third foul on Switek. So she is the third Saint with 3 fouls. Georgia Bolton and Jordan Pyle also have 3, and both of them are coming back onto the floor while Switek will leave. Pellegrini comes in for her. Morris's first free throw is good. She knocks them both down. First points of the game for Carolyn Morris, who entered play today averaging 7 points per contest. 17-point game. There have been just 7 combined points scored so far this half. See if Charlesworth can add to that total. She does. 3-pointer for Justine Charlesworth. Her third of the game. Timeout called by St. Francis. 3:51 to play in the third quarter. St. Francis 45, Bethel 25. Has not been a pretty third quarter overall. Neither team has shot the ball all that well. They are combined 3 of 19 from the field so far since halftime. They haven't been turning it over at the same rate that we saw in the first half, but there's not been much offense. Maybe that 3-pointer for Justine Charlesworth will turn things around. You'd expect to see the Fighting Saints pressing coming out of the timeout. They've been able to force some Bethel giveaways by employing that defensive strategy throughout the night. Saints in good position here. It has been far from their cleanest offensive game so far, and a lot of the credit belongs to Bethel's defense as well. But despite, as of right now, being well below their offensive pace for the season, they've still got a big lead on the Pilots. Against the press, Bethel is able to inbound it. Here's Elliott Foster. Trapped, gets it off to Assad. Ahead to the corner, Katie Kinker. Back out and around to the right wing. Assad has an open three. She misses off the rim. Rebound tracked down by Foster. Morris picks up her dribble, gives it to Kinker. 7 to shoot. Right side, Foster. Fakes the three, moves off to her right. Back up top, Assad has to force up a shot. Long three-pointer misses, and Pyle grabs the rebound. Good defensive possession for the Fighting Saints. Jordan Pyle takes it all the way down into the paint. Kicks it out to Bolton. Three-point attempt, Georgia Bolton, no. Rebound tapped out of bounds. That was last touched by Mia Kennelly coming over the top of Morris. It belongs to Bethel. This is a Pilot team that averaged well over 80 points per game last year. They finished just 10 and 20 a year ago, but boy, could they score. Very different style this season. They scored just 65 a game. They also give up 65 per game. So they've slowed things down considerably. Their defense is on track today. The offense, not so much. They've had massive trouble scoring since the first quarter. Jones pulls up down low, gives it up to Morris. Morris backs in on Yankee. Off the backboard, no good. Rebound to Pyle. Pyle pushing the pace. She's got numbers in front of her. Bolton off to the left. Three-pointer, good. Georgia Bolton's been good from the outside today. That's her third three-pointer in 5 attempts. She's got 9 points. Foster can't answer with a three on the other end. And a tie-up on the rebound. Shared possession between Morris and Pyle. It'll be St. Francis ball. A 23-point lead for St. Francis now. They're getting their shooters going once again. Georgia Bolton came into play today just 2 for 13 from beyond the arc this season. Pyle double teamed inside, gives it to the cutting Mickens along the baseline. Mickens lays it in. 12 points for Mickens. McElroy in the corner for Bethel. One bounce back outside. Kinker. Kinker drives the lane, bounces to the right side along the baseline. 2-point jumper misses from Foster. Big scuffle for the rebound, and somehow Jordan Pyle comes away with it. Lobbed ahead for Mickens. Mickens, another layup. The Pyle to Mickens connection has been strong over the last few minutes. Back-to-back assists for Jordan Pyle, and Mickens has 14 points. Make it 15 now for Braxton Mickens. Saints are doubling up the Pilots. Foster drives on Pellegrini, and Pellegrini's called for the bump.
St. Francis foul on number 25, Celia Pellegrini. Her first, team's fifth.
Substitutions for both sides. Claywell comes back in for the Pilots. Josie Graffio back on the floor for the Saints with Leilani Harris. And for the first time today, Thormeyer comes in. Freshman Lorelei Thormeyer from Providence Catholic High School. First free throw is good for Elia Foster. 7 points for Foster. 64 seconds to play in the third. Big lead St. Francis. And Foster cuts into that lead by 2. Thormeyer, the point guard for the moment for St. Francis, dribbles it off to the left side, passes up top Mickens. Around to the right wing, it's Harris. Bouncing down low, Yankee double teamed. And Yankee is fouled on the floor. That is the 5th on Bethel, so Yankee will go to the free throw line for 2.
Bethel foul, number 0, Caroline Morris,
Second foul on Morris. One number 0 on the other. Yankees got 4 points so far today. She adds to that. 9 of 14 from the free throw line so far this season. She makes 1 of 2. Harris out of bounds. She tried to save the rebound, couldn't quite do it. Saints just 3 of 7 from the foul line so far tonight, but it hasn't hurt their lead any. Still a big advantage for the Fighting Saints in the final minute of the third quarter. Foster looks both directions, finally passes out to Addie Jones. Jones trying to find Morris inside, instead puts it on the floor, drives all the way in and banks it home. Good drive by Addie Jones. Shot clock is off for the Fighting Saints. A pair of freshmen on the floor for St. Francis, along with the veterans Yankee, Graffio, and Mickens, who currently has the ball. 7 seconds. Braxton Mickens, stripped by Claywell, gets it back, 3 seconds. Mickens all the way inside, blocked out of bounds by Morris. 1.2 on the clock. The Saints will have time for a quick shot here. Thormeyer picks up the ball on the baseline, bounces into Graffio at the buzzer. Graffio can't get it to go. Looked good on the inbounds play, but Graffio forced to rush it. Couldn't direct the ball where she wanted, and the third quarter comes to a close with St. Francis leading 53-30. A very slow start to that third quarter, but the offense picked up. St. Francis outscored Bethel 15-8. Over the course of the period, the Saints have won each quarter so far today and have built their lead up to 23. It's been as big as 26 late in the third quarter. Totals right now, St. Francis shooting 44% from the field, Bethel just 26%. And after a decent start, the Pilots have really gone cold. They went 2 for 17 shooting in the third quarter today. At one point in this game, they were 5 of 9 from the field. Since then, just 4 of 26. Bethel's gone through some long droughts. It was a good start to this game for the first 5 minutes or so. Both sides were shooting well, going back and forth. It was tied at 10 with 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. And then Bethel went the final 5 minutes of the first quarter, plus the first minute plus of the second quarter, without scoring a single point, and that's when the Saints started to pull away. They went on a 12-0 run, and they have led by double figures almost the entire time since then. Leading scorer for the Fighting Saints tonight, Braxton Mickens, has 15 points. Jordan Pyle once again has filled that stat sheet. 7 points for her, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, and a block. So an impressive day for Pyle today. Maya Shelton continues to lead Bethel with her 9 points. However, she did not score in the third quarter and has now missed her last 4 field goal attempts. Bethel possession to start the fourth period. They'll inbound from half court with Addie Jones finding Elia Foster in the backcourt. Foster guarded by Georgia Bolton. There's the St. Francis trap, and Bolton and Mickens force the steal. Mickens all the way on the other end. Misses on the layup. Rebound knocked out of bounds by the Saints. Saints force the turnover. 22nd one of those today for Bethel, but not able to turn it into 2 points on the other end. They'll try to force another one with the full court press. Here's Foster along the sideline. Foster working against Charlesworth, and Charlesworth is called for the foul.
St. Francis foul number 23, Justine Charlesworth, her second, team's first.
Second foul on Justine Charlesworth. Sets up the out-of-bounds play from the baseline. Foster bounces down low to Morris. Morris turns to face the basket, working against Mickens. She's fouled going up. Braxton Mickens is called for her first.
St. Francis is fouled. Number 21, Braxton Mickens, her first, team second.
Morris to the free throw line. She's 2 of 2 there so far today, but she misses the first this time around. 67% free throw shooter for the year. She's dead on right now at 2 of 3, but she'll be either 50 or 75% after this one. 50. She misses them both. Here's Hannah Switek for the Fighting Saints. Switek drives, kicks it into the corner. Mickens, three-pointer. Got it. Braxton Mickens has 18. That's her first from three-point range today. The lead is back to 26, which matches the biggest of the game for St. Francis. Katie Kinker, turnaround with the right hand. Rims out, rebounded by Bolton. Saints continue to run here. Switek working quickly on Foster. Fires into the corner for Charlesworth, and Charlesworth connects. Back-to-back assists for Hannah Switek, and a timeout called by Bethel. Switek penetrated both times, kicked it into the corner, the left corner to Mickens, and then on the next possession, the right corner to Charlesworth. And Hannah Switek now has 7 assists to surpass Jordan Pyle for the team lead. Switek has been brilliantly running the offense so far in the fourth quarter. We're just 1 minute and 8 seconds in. And already the Saints have outscored Bethel 6-0. Remember that third quarter, they went a while before they could get rolling offensively. A lot of trouble scoring for the first 5 minutes or so of that period, but they've heated up once again. And they now lead by 29 points as we get late in this one. St. Francis on the cusp of their 4th consecutive victory would improve their record to 5-1 for the season if they can finish it off. Saints were unranked in the preseason poll. They were just outside the top 25, receiving the second most votes of any unranked team. The first in-season rankings will be released later this week, and you've got to think St. Francis has a pretty good chance of seeing a number next to their name the next time they take the floor. They do have the one loss, though, and that's the downside for the Fighting Saints right now. They've played really well to open the season, but the one time that they faced a top opponent, a top 10 team, they lost in a pretty lopsided decision, falling to number 7 Marion by 20 points. So we'll see how the rankings look when they do come out later this week. Saints are back to conference play after this one. They'll take the courts on Wednesday against Trinity Christian. Bethel's able to fire it in across midcourt, all the way on the other end. It's Shelton with the layup. Nice job by the Pilots to break the press that time. They went over the top. That's a good way to prevent the turnovers in the backcourt. Don't even put the ball in the backcourt. First points of the quarter for the Pilots. Here's Pyle in the post. Turnaround off the back rim, no good. She grabs her 10th rebound of the game, gives it up to Mickens. Mickens saves it on the floor and passed back outside. Georgia Bolton on the run, banks it home. Good offensive game for Bolton, by far her best of the season, as Shelton responds with a three-pointer. She's got the last 5 for Bethel, 14 points in the game for Shelton. Georgia Bolton is in double figures for St. Francis. She had scored just 8 points all season coming in. Airballs this 3 from the corner. Here come the Pilots. Assad looking ahead for Morris, but Pyle gets in the way and deflects the pass out of bounds. 11 points on 4 of 7 shooting tonight for Georgia Bolton. Coming off the injury that cut her season in half last year. A little slow to get started this year as Pyle comes away with the steal on the inbounds pass. Switek ahead for Harris, and Harris lays it in. First points tonight for Leilani Harris. Another assist for Hannah Switek. She's closing in on double figures there. 63-35. Here's Williams. Outside to Addie Jones, and Jones misses on the 3. Another rebound for Jordan Pyle. Switek for Mickens. Mickens a couple of dribbles, layup no good. Challenged by Williams. And it's one and done for the Saints as Bethel quickly moves the other direction. Nyla Assad holds in the corner. Pulls out to the top of the key and finds Abby Williams. This is Claywell driving the baseline from the left side. She loses it. Looked like Harris knocked it loose, and Justine Charlesworth secures the loose ball. Switek fires down to the corner. Pyle fakes the three, drives, kicks. Harris thought about the three. Instead, she passes up top, and the Saints continue to move the ball. 15 on the shot clock for Hannah Switek. Switek spins, kicks it outside. It's Pyle on the wing. Jordan Pyle along the lane. She's fouled, and she'll go to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Bethel foul, number 12, Nyla Assad, her third, team's first. Jordan Pyle on the line for 2.
Braxton Mickens checks out with her 15 points, 18 points. She hit that 3 a moment ago. Pyle misses on the first free throw. Mia Kennelly back in for the Fighting Saints. Kennelly, Pyle, Harris, Switek, and Charlesworth. Yankee will check in for Pyle if she makes this free throw, which she does not. So she buys herself a little extra time on the floor. Jordan Pyle's had a good game overall, but she's just 1 of 5 from the free throw line. Here's Shelton finding Claywell up top. Claywell looks inside. That's well covered, so she drives instead, and she's fouled by Mia Kennelly. That's her second.
St. Francis foul, number 35, Mia Kennelly, her second, team's third.
Now Yankee comes in for Pyle. Pellegrini in for Switek with 6:16 to play. 28-point lead for St. Francis, so we may see subs the rest of the way. Timeout called by Bethel.
Timeout Bethel.
Bethel shooting just 28% from the field so far today. They've been held to only 35 points by a stout St. Francis defensive effort. Season low for Bethel came in their last game when they were outscored by Oakland City 72-50. Pilots have cleaned up one thing offensively, though. They've turned it over only 6 times in the second half. Not a great number, but compared to the 18 in the first half, it's looking pretty good. They've turned it over 24 times overall today. Came in averaging 27 per game. And that is the number one area that Scott Polsgrove, I'm sure, would like to get cleaned up. He's got a fairly veteran team. They've lost some players from last year, but a lot of talent back as well, as the first free throw is good for Claywell. But their offense has been a little bit off kilter so far this year, especially lately. 63-37 on the free throws from Claywell. Saints basketball, 4 subs on the floor. Charlesworth is the only starter who remains. Harris knocks down the 3.
Harris from 3.
She's got 5 points, all of them here in the fourth quarter. Saints are once again filling the stat sheet today. Their last 2 games on Wednesday against Calumet, they had 13 different players score. Selena Yankee is called for a foul. And then on Saturday against Trinity International, 14 different players found their names on the score sheet. Today, 8 different players have contributed points for the Fighting Saints. Thormeyer is back in for Charlesworth, so all 5 starters are on the sideline now. Abby Williams down low. A little bit too strong off the glass, rebounded by Yankee. Here comes Talia Pellegrini. Into the corner for Thormeyer. Up top, Yankee tries the 3, and it's on the mark. Alina Yankee from the outside adds to her total. She's got 8 points now for the ball game. For Yankee, that was only the 3rd attempted 3-pointer this season. First one she's made. Abby Williams loses the handle on it, deflected out by Yankee. Here's Assad. Nyla Assad passes out to McElroy. McElroy dribbles in from the left side, comes up short off the backboard. Yankee picks up the rebound. Pellegrini races the other direction. Thormeyer in the corner, out to Kennelly. Yankee dribbles inside the arc, back outside to Harris. Lonnie Harris cuts right down the lane, lays it up and in.
Lonnie Harris.
7 points now for Harris. Lead is up to 34 for the Fighting Saints. 4.5 minutes to play. Assad throws it away, intercepted by Mia Kennelly. Kennelly slows things down a little bit for the Fighting Saints. Thormeyer is hit by Addie Jones. And Jones is called for the foul.
Bethel foul number 15, Addie Jones, her third, team second.
Kaylee Ford comes off the bench, replacing Alina Yankee. And Bethel brings a few players off the bench as well. Katie Kinker is back in. Alasia Stewart returns to the floor. And Stewart forces the ball out of bounds. Nearly came away with a steal. Stewart, 5'10", long arms, and she was able to get the right one up right there to deflect the pass, but not quite able to keep it in bounds. Big lead for St. Francis on their way to their third consecutive lopsided win. It would be their fourth straight overall. Pellegrini dribbles into the right, up off the backboard and in for Talia Pellegrini. Her first points tonight.
Talia Pellegrini.
Stewart can't handle it inside. Kaylee Ford knocks it out. It'll stay with the Pilots. Jones finds Stewart on the inbounds play. Stewart scores and a foul. First points for Alasia Stewart. And back to the free throw line for Bethel. Those are the first points of the season for Alasia Stewart, the junior from Aurora, Illinois. Not all that far from here. She makes the free throw. Bethel is 12 of 14 from the free throw line tonight. The Saints are just 3 of 9, so that's one area where the Pilots have really outplayed St. Francis tonight. Other than that, though, it really has been all Saints. Harris outside looking for Pellegrini. Stewart jumps the passing lane and takes it away. She made a nice impact since checking in a couple of minutes ago, but it's thrown away by Jones. Thormeyer comes away with the interception, and she's in a hurry going the other way. Thormeyer kicks it out to Kaylee Ford. Ford dribbles into the right. Back up to the top of the key. Talia Pellegrini drives, lays it up and in.
Talia Pellegrini.
McElroy on the other end. Backs it outside the three-point line. Up top, here's a drive from Addie Jones. She picks up her dribble, shovels it off to Foster. Elia Foster's pass deflected by Kennelly into the backcourt and out of bounds. It'll stay with Bethel, 10 to shoot. Autumn Scholl comes in for Mia Kennelly. First appearance of Scholl tonight. And with Sierra Mahomes unavailable, I believe that's everybody for St. Francis. They've all seen action at some point. Corner jumper with the shot clock running down. Misses from McElroy, and Pellegrini grabs the rebound. Ahead to Thormeyer. Lorelei Thormeyer fires inside to Scholl. One bounce, lost the ball, got it back. Off the glass, Scholl can't finish. Bethel takes it away. Three-pointer Jones on the other end, way off. Rebound bounces into the hands of McElroy. On the outside, Bethel sets it up for a three-pointer, and Foster connects. She's into double figures, 11 points for Elia Foster, who knocks down her second three-pointer today. Once again today, the St. Francis reserves have kept the offense rolling. Not on this possession. It's bad timing for me to say that. Ford's pass is intercepted. Bethel cannot keep it out of bounds on the other side, though. So both teams turn it over. We're right back where we started, St. Francis ball. Mia Canelli back in for the Fighting Saints. Leilani Harris heads out. Talia Pellegrini handles the basketball. Her pass to Scholl is deflected by Stewart. Another steal for Alasia Stewart. Stewart passes out to Jones. Jones finds Foster, another open three. This time she misses short. And the rebound chased down by Addie Jones. Offensive board for Bethel. Corner three-pointer, McElroy rims out. Rebound Stewart, she's fouled. Stewart scored her first 3 points of the season just a few minutes ago. And now she is right back to the free throw line, trying to add to it. Stewart is 1 of 3 from the free throw line this season, including her make earlier in this fourth quarter. Front iron on the first one, no good. Just the third miss from the free throw line for Bethel today. Second chance is good. Leilani Harris back on the floor for St. Francis. Hands it off to Lorelei Thormeyer. Thormeyer has an open lane, lays it in, and gets herself to the line. Nice ball movement for the Fighting Saints and a strong finish for Thormeyer. Thormeyer makes it a three-point play. Her first points today. And that's now 10 Fighting Saints to have scored. Third straight game, they've gotten offensive contributions from at least 10 players. Foster dribbles around the outside. Bounce down low. This is Stewart. Kicks it out to McElroy. McElroy drives, floats it up and misses. Grabs her own miss and is fouled on the floor. This will be a two-shot foul with the Saints over the limit. Autumn Scholl back in for Talia Pellegrini. And Callie McElroy is at the line for 2 free throw attempts. First one is good. First point tonight for McElroy. She's a perfect 3 of 3 from the foul line this year, but perfect no longer. Stewart grabs another offensive rebound. 3 rebounds for Stewart here in the fourth. Down low looking for Stewart. Autumn Scholl jumps the passing lane and takes it away. Probably the final possession for St. Francis as Canelli fires a long 3 and misses. Harris grabs the rebound. Out to Thormeyer. 3-second difference between the shot and game clocks here. So the Saints cannot dribble it out, but it looks like they are going to take a shot clock violation. Paige Walton is on the floor for Bethel. So I believe they have cleared their bench. And apparently they don't feel like taking their last possession. So the clock runs down to 0. And our final score today, St. Francis 78, Bethel 45. The Fighting Saints do indeed win their 4th consecutive game. And they do it once again in dominant fashion. A 33-point victory tonight over a Bethel team that came in with a strong record of 4-2. The Pilots have been struggling lately on the offensive end, and that was the case once again tonight as they were held to just 27% from the field. Saints shot 48% overall. They were an impressive 12 of 26 from beyond the three-point line. St. Francis was led tonight by Braxton Mickens, 18 points on 8 of 16 shooting. They got 12 from Justine Charlesworth and 11 from Georgia Bolton. Bolton's first double-figure performance of the season. Jordan Pyle led the team with 11 rebounds. She also had 7 points, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Hannah Switek was held to just 2 points on 1 of 5 shooting, but she had a nice game as well with a pair of rebounds, a pair of blocks, and 8 assists. Bethel was led by Maya Shelton, 14 points tonight. They got 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals from Addie Jones. So Bethel had a couple of performers who had some nice games today, but not nearly enough. They were tied 10-10 in the first quarter. St. Francis went on a 12-0 run to end that period, and that essentially was the ball game. Bethel was never able to cut too deeply into that deficit once it was built late in the first quarter, and St. Francis was able to pull away to a big victory. So Bethel will continue their tour of CCAC opponents coming up next against Indiana Northwest, and the Saints will do the same. They'll also get back on a tour of CCAC opponents. After starting the conference season 2-0, they get the big victory in the non-conference game today, and they're back to CCAC play on Wednesday. They'll head out to Palos to take on Trinity Christian in 2 days' time. The next home game for St. Francis is next Tuesday evening, 5 o'clock start time. They'll take on the Lakers of Roosevelt University, and that'll be our next broadcast for you here on the USF Sports Network. Hopefully you join us for that one. But until then, we're done from Joliet. St. Francis defeats Bethel 78-45. Thanks for tuning in. Terry Bonadonna here signing off from the University of St. Francis. Enjoy your Monday night. We'll talk to you next time.